A few nights ago, I got an email from someone I've never met. It was from a viewer, someone who watches these videos. He just wrote, "Clifford, I think I'm going through what you went through. I thought I found peace in Pattaya too, but now I'm not so sure." I sat there, just staring at the screen. I didn't reply right away. Honestly, I felt my chest tighten, because those words hit too close. It brought everything back, the hope, the illusion, the slow unraveling, and the moment I realized I wasn't living my dream, I was living someone else's. That email reminded me why I started sharing these stories in the first place. Not to vent, not to shame anyone, but because sometimes the only way to understand what's happening to you is to hear it from someone who's already been there. I thought I found peace in Pattaya, a beach, a smile, and a second chance at love. That's what I told myself. She made it so easy to believe. We had drinks by the ocean. We talked about building a little cafe. She laughed at my dumb jokes. I felt younger just being near her. But behind that smile was a plan, one that didn't include me. I gave her everything, and she gave me someone else's dream. Now I sleep alone in a motel bed, ceiling fan buzzing, one suitcase, one toothbrush, and a head full of questions I still can't answer. If you've ever felt like love was your way out of loneliness, regret, the past, then I hope you'll stick around. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from. I read every single message. And to those of you who keep showing up, story after story, super thank you. You've made this space feel like I'm not completely alone in all this. So to the man who emailed me, this one's for you. Let me take you back to where it all started. The morning heat hit my face as I walked along Emptied beach, sweating through my polo shirt like some tourist who'd never seen humidity before, 3 months in Thailand, and I still couldn't get used to it. I was sitting at that little cafe with the blue umbrellas when I first saw her. She was translating for some property agent, speaking rapid Thai to an older German man who kept nodding and pointing at his phone. But when she turned to explain something in English, her voice stopped me cold. "He wants to know if the building has backup generators," she said to the agent. Her English was clear, careful, not broken like so many others I'd met since arriving. The German man thanked her, paid his bill, and left. She gathered her papers, and I found myself standing up. "Excuse me," I said, feeling foolish. "Your English is really good." She looked up, surprised. Small, maybe 5'3", with long black hair tied back and wearing a simple white blouse. "Thank you. I study at university before. I'm Clifford, from Arizona." I gestured to the empty chair across from her. "Would you mind if I bought you a coffee? I don't meet many people here who speak English so well." She hesitated, then smiled. "I am Thorata. I have few minutes before my next appointment." I ordered 2 iced coffees, and we sat in the shade of that blue umbrella. The sound of motorbikes and street vendors filled the air around us, but all I could focus on was her voice. "You are retired?" she asked. "Landscaper for 42 years. Tucson gets hot, but nothing like this." I laughed, wiping sweat from my forehead. "My wife passed 2 years ago. Cancer. I just needed to get away from everything that reminded me of her." Her expression softened. "I am sorry for your loss." "What about you?" The translating, I mean. "Part-time job. I help tourists with property, sometimes legal papers. My younger sister, she is in university. Biology. Very smart. I work to help her with school fees." Something about the way she said it, so matter-of-fact, no self-pity, just a woman doing what needed to be done. That's really admirable. "Is just family. We take care of each other." She checked her phone. "I should go soon. Maybe we could have coffee again? Tomorrow?" She looked at me for a long moment, and I felt like she was deciding something important. "Okay, same time." I walked back to my hotel room that night with something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Hope, maybe. Or just the possibility that I didn't have to spend every evening alone, watching Thai TV I couldn't understand. The next morning, I was at the cafe 15 minutes early. She arrived exactly on time, wearing a yellow sundress that made her look younger than I'd first thought. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about growing up in a small village near Bangkok, how her father died when she was 16, how she'd worked in a hotel before starting the translation work. "It gets lonely sometimes," she said, stirring her coffee. "Same routine every day. Work, home, work, home." I understand that. Back in Tucson, I was just going through the motions. Getting up, watching the news, going to bed. My son calls once a week, but he has his own family now. "You miss your wife very much." I nodded. 43 years together, but I realized something recently. She wouldn't want me to just stop living. We met the next day. And the day after that, within a week, it became our routine. Coffee at 10, sometimes lunch at a street food place she'd take me to. She'd laugh at my attempts to use Thai phrases, correcting my pronunciation with gentle patience. "You say cob kun like robot," she said one afternoon, giggling. "Try again, more soft." "Cob kun crap," I repeated, and she clapped her hands. "Better. You sound almost human now." I hadn't laughed like that in years. Real laughter, not the polite kind you give to checkout clerks or waiters. She made me feel like myself again, not just some grieving widower killing time in a foreign country. 2 weeks in, as we walked along the beach after dinner, she stopped and looked out at the water. "Clifford, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why did you choose Thailand? Many American men, they come here for different reasons." I knew what she meant. I'd seen them at the bars, men my age with girls young enough to be their granddaughters. I just wanted somewhere peaceful, somewhere I could think. She nodded slowly. "You are different. More gentle." When she said that, something shifted in my chest. Like a door I'd kept locked was finally opening. "Thorata, I want you to know, spending time with you, it means a lot to me. I don't want you to think I'm just another lonely tourist." She took my hand. Her fingers were small and warm. "I know. I can see in your eyes. You have good heart." That night, I called my son David from my hotel room. "Dad, you sound different," he said. "Better." "I met someone, David." "A woman." There was a pause. "Dad, just be careful, okay? I know Mom's been gone for a while, but don't rush into anything." "I'm not rushing. I'm just living again." After 3 weeks of daily meetings, I decided to extend my visa. The paperwork was complicated, forms in Thai that might as well have been hieroglyphics. Thorata offered to help. "Immigration office is very confusing for foreigners," she said as we sat in the crowded government building. "I translate for you." She guided me through every step, explaining each form, helping me understand the requirements. When the officer asked questions in Thai, she translated both ways, making sure I understood everything before I answered. "Extension approved," she said as we walked out into the afternoon heat. "You can stay 6 more months." "Thank you. I couldn't have done that without you." "Is no problem. But Clifford, if you staying longer, maybe you think about finding better place to live? Hotel is expensive for a long time." She was right. The hotel was costing me nearly $2,000 a month. I've been looking at some condos online, but it's hard to know what's real. "I can help you look. I know good areas, good buildings." We spent the next week touring properties. Small places, nothing fancy, but clean and close to the beach. I was drawn to a 1-bedroom condo in a quiet building near the water. The rent was reasonable, and it came furnished. "This one is nice," Thorata said, opening the sliding door to the balcony. "Good view, good security. What do you think about the lease terms?" She read through the Thai contract carefully. "Owner wants 1 year minimum. First month, last month, and security deposit." I did the math. It would save me money compared to the hotel, and having a real place would make Thailand feel less temporary. "I think I want it." "Clifford," she said quietly, Maybe lease should be in both our names, in case something happened to you, or if you need help with landlord. I hesitated. It seemed like a big step, putting her name on a lease, but she'd already helped me so much, and it made practical sense. You'd be willing to do that? Of course, we are partners now, yes? The word partners sent a warm feeling through me. Yes, I'd like that. We signed the lease the next day. She moved in that weekend, bringing just 2 small suitcases and a box of books. Watching her hang her clothes in the closet next to mine felt more intimate than anything physical we might have done. It feels like home already, she said that first evening as we ate pad that on the balcony. It does. I reached across the small table and took her hand. Thorata, I need to tell you something. I'm falling in love with you. She squeezed my fingers. I love you too, Clifford. You make me feel safe. Those first few weeks living together were the happiest I'd been since before Martha got sick. We'd wake up together, have coffee on the balcony, then she'd go to work while I read or walk the beach. Evenings, we'd explore night markets, try different restaurants, or just sit by the water talking. Tell me about your wife, she said one night as we walked along the shore. Martha? She was a teacher. 3rd grade. Toughest woman I ever met, but so gentle with kids. We tried to have children for years, but it never happened. Then David came along when we were almost 40. Miracle baby, Martha called him. She sounds wonderful. She was. But Thorata, what we have, it's different. With Martha, we grew up together, learned together. With you, I feel like I'm discovering parts of myself I never knew existed. She leaned against my shoulder as we walked. In Thailand, we believe people come into our lives when we need them most. Maybe Martha sent you to me. I called David a few weeks later to tell him about the condo, about Thorata moving in. His voice got tight. Dad, slow down. You barely know this woman. I know enough. She's kind, hardworking, honest. Dad, please. Just be careful with your money, okay? And with your heart. David, I'm 68 years old. I know what I'm doing. But even as I said it, I wondered if I really did. The first sign something was changing came about a month after we'd moved in together. Thorata started staying out later some evenings. Where were you? I asked one night when she came home after 10. Helping my cousin Nim with her shop. She sells clothes at weekend market, but her English is not good. I help her with foreign customers. I could have come with you, met your cousin. Next time, maybe. Tonight was very busy, very stressful. You would be bored. Her phone rang constantly those days. She'd glance at it, sometimes answer in rapid Thai, sometimes just silence it and put it face down. Popular woman. I joked one evening after her phone buzzed for the 5th time during dinner. Just work calls. Property clients ask many questions. One night, she came home wearing new earrings, small diamonds that caught the light. Those are beautiful, I said. Thank you. Gift from my aunt in Bangkok. She visited last week. I didn't remember her mentioning an aunt visiting, but I didn't push. I was trying to be the kind of man who trusted, who didn't question every little thing. Martha used to say trust was like a plant. It needed space to grow. But my gut kept tightening. Late phone calls, new jewelry, evenings away. I started offering her more spending money. You work so hard, I said, handing her 5,000 baht. Buy yourself something nice. Clifford, you already pay for everything. I don't need more money. I want to help. I want you to be happy. She took the money, but something in her expression looked almost sad. You are a very generous man. I was walking to meet my friend Jim at a beach bar near the pier when I saw them. Thorata was sitting at a corner table with a younger Thai man, maybe early 30s, well-dressed. She was laughing, touching his arm, leaning in close when he spoke. They looked comfortable together, familiar. I stood there watching for maybe 10 minutes. She never saw me. When he got up to leave, he kissed her cheek. Not a friendly peck, but something softer, longer. I walked home instead of meeting Jim. Sat on the balcony for 2 hours, drinking beer and trying to make sense of what I'd seen. When Thorata came home around 9, she was cheerful, normal. How was your day? She asked, kissing my forehead. Fine. Yours? Busy. Many clients today. I waited until the next morning. Thorata, who was that man you were with yesterday at the beach bar? Her face went completely still. What man? I saw you. Around 6 o'clock. You were laughing. He kissed you when he left. She exploded. You follow me? You spy on me like I am criminal? I wasn't following you. I was meeting Jim, and I saw you. He is just friend. Old friend from university. We have coffee sometimes. You think I cannot have friends? Her voice got louder, angrier. You don't trust me? After everything? After I help you with visa, with apartment, with everything? I just want to understand. No. You want to control me. Like I am your property. She grabbed her purse. I cannot live like this, with man who think I am liar. She stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I sat there feeling like the worst kind of fool. Maybe I'd been jealous, paranoid. Maybe she was right. I called her that afternoon. Thorata, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have accused you. You hurt me very much, Clifford. I know. Can we talk? Can you come home? I need time to think. Few days. Those few days turned into almost a week. No calls, no messages. I walked the beach every night like some lovesick teenager hoping to see her. I called her phone dozens of times, always voicemail. I barely slept, barely ate. When she finally came back, she acted like nothing had happened. Hello, darling, she said, setting her bag down casually. You miss me? Where were you? I was worried, sick. Staying with friend? I told you I needed time to think. Which friend? The man from the bar? Her eyes flashed. You still don't trust me. I just want to understand. We live together, we love each other, then you disappear for a week. Sometimes people need space, Clifford. In relationship, you cannot hold too tight. She made dinner that night like everything was normal. We watched TV, went to bed together. But something had shifted. A distance I couldn't name or bridge. The bank call came on a Tuesday morning while Thorata was in the shower. Mr. Henderson, this is First National. We need to verify a large international transfer from your account yesterday. What transfer? $7,200 to a Bangkok bank account. The reference says, family emergency. My hands started shaking. I didn't authorize any transfer. Sir, the transfer was made online using your login credentials. We're required to verify any transaction over $5,000. I hung up and opened my laptop, logged into my banking. There it was. $7,000 sent to an account number I didn't recognize. Thorata came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her hair. What's wrong? You look upset. Someone used my bank account to send $7,000 to Bangkok. Did you do this? She sat on the bed, suddenly very still. Clifford, I can explain. Explain what? You stole from me? Not steal. Emergency. My sister, she need money for medical treatment. Very serious problem. I was going to tell you, but I know you would worry. Show me. Show me proof of this medical emergency. What proof? You want hospital papers? Doctor notes? You think I am liar? I want to understand why you took money from my account without telling me. She started crying. I was scared. I was ashamed to ask for so much money. My sister, she could die without treatment. Part of me wanted to believe her. The tears looked real. Her voice sounded genuinely broken. But $7,000 without asking, without even telling me. Thorata, if your sister needed help, I would have given you the money. But you can't just take it. I know I was wrong, but I was desperate. I held her while she cried, but something cold was spreading in my chest. Trust, once broken, doesn't heal clean. What's your sister's name? What hospital? She pulled away from me. Why you ask so many questions? I tell you what happened, you still don't believe me? I just want to help. If she needs more treatment, you want to check my story? Call hospital yourself? You think I make up sick sister for money? Her anger was real too, raw and fierce. You know what, Clifford? Maybe you're right. Maybe you cannot trust me. Maybe I cannot trust you to understand when I have family crisis. She packed a bag and left again. This time, I didn't chase her. I spent 3 days alone in that condo, staring at the bank statement, trying to decide what to believe. $7,000. My monthly Social Security was less than $3,000. It wasn't the money itself. I had savings. It was the taking without asking, the secret, the way she turned my questions back on me like I was the problem. On the 4th day, I sent her a message. Let's talk. I still love you. She agreed to meet at a small restaurant near the market. She looked tired, older somehow. We ordered food neither of us touched. I'm sorry about the money, I said. I should have been more understanding about your sister. Thank you. That means very much to me. Can we fix this? Can we go back to how things were? She stirred her soup slowly. Maybe. But Clifford, you need to show me you trust me. Really trust me. How? My friend, the one you saw at bar, his name is Pong. He have opportunity for good business. Real estate development near airport. Very good return on investment. I felt my stomach drop. What kind of opportunity? He need co-signer for property loan. Just guarantee. If business succeed, you make much money. If not, no problem for you. How much money? 50,000 US dollar. But you don't pay anything. Just sign papers. I stared at her across the table. After everything that had happened, after the $7,000, she was asking me to co-sign a loan with a man I didn't know for a business I didn't understand. Thorata, I can't do that. Why? You don't trust me? You don't trust my friends? It's not about trust. It's about being smart with money. Her face closed off. I see. When I need help, when my friend need help, you say no. But when you lonely, when you need someone to take care of you, then Thorata must help. That's not fair. Fair? You think anything about this is fair? She stood up. You want someone to cook for you, sleep with you, make you feel young again? But when I ask for something, suddenly you are careful businessman. She left 20 baht on the table and walked out. I sat there for an hour, nursing cold coffee and watching tourists laugh at nearby tables. People who looked happy, uncomplicated. People who weren't trying to figure out if love was real or just expensive. The next morning I started packing. Not everything, just enough for a few nights. I needed space to think. Away from the condo that smelled like her perfume. Away from the bed where we'd talked about our future. I found a small motel on Swa 17, the kind of place that rented by the week to budget travelers and men like me who needed to disappear for a while. The room was basic. Single bed, tiny bathroom, air conditioner that wheezed like an old man climbing stairs. But it was mine. Nobody else's name on anything. I called Thorata that afternoon. I moved out for a few days. I need time to think. Where you go? Just a motel. Nothing permanent. Clifford, you are making a mistake. We can work this out. Maybe. But right now I can't think clearly when I'm with you. You choose some cheap motel over our home? Over me? I'm choosing to figure out what's real. She hung up. That was the last time we spoke. I put the condo up for sale the next week. Lost money on it, selling below market because I wanted out fast. The real estate agent asked if my co-signer needed to be present for the sale. Co-signer, Miss Thorata. Her name is on the lease as equal tenant. Equal tenant. Not just someone helping with paperwork, someone with legal rights to the place I'd paid for. I signed the papers giving her half the proceeds from the deposit return. Seemed fair, even if nothing else had been. The motel room had thin walls. I could hear everything. Tourists coming back drunk from the bars, couples arguing in languages I couldn't identify, the sound of motorbikes starting up at dawn. But somehow, the noise was better than the silence in that condo, waiting for Thorata to come home, wondering where she really was. I walked the beach every evening, same route we used to take together. The water looked the same, the sunset painted the sky, the same colors, but I felt like I was seeing it all for the first time. Not through the lens of romance or hope, just as what it was. A beach in Thailand where an old man from Arizona was trying to figure out how he'd gotten so lost. One night, about 2 weeks after I'd moved out, I saw her. She was at the same bar where I'd first spotted her with Pong, but this time she was with a different man. Older, maybe my age, wearing an expensive watch. They were holding hands across the table. I didn't feel angry or jealous, just sad. Sad for both of us, maybe, for the way things start with such hope and end with such clarity. I started writing letters I never planned to send. Dear Thorata, I would begin, then fill pages trying to explain what I'd been feeling, what I'd been hoping for, what I finally understood. The writing helped somehow, got the thoughts out of my head and onto paper where I could look at them more clearly. In one letter, I wrote, I don't think you're evil. I think you're surviving. I think you saw a lonely man with money and you did what you needed to do. I just wish I'd been honest with myself about what I was buying. In another, I wanted to save you and I wanted you to save me. That's not love, that's a business transaction. No wonder it felt so expensive. 3 weeks into my motel stay, I called David. Really talked to him for the first time since I'd left Arizona. Dad, you sound different again. Sadder, but more like yourself. I made some mistakes, son. Big ones. Want to talk about it? I told him everything. The money, the condo, the way I'd ignored every red flag because I was afraid of being alone. He listened without judging, just let me get it all out. Dad, can I ask you something? What did you need from her that you couldn't give yourself? The question stopped me cold. I don't know. Permission to be happy again, maybe. Proof that I was still worth loving. You were already worth loving. Mom knew that. I know that. You didn't need some stranger in Thailand to prove it. After we hung up, I sat on the narrow motel bed and cried for the first time since Martha's funeral. Not for Thorata, not for the money I'd lost, but for the man who'd been so desperate for love that he'd forgotten to love himself. I started taking longer walks, not just to the beach, but into parts of Pattaya I'd never explored. I met other expats, other retirees. Some had similar stories, women who'd disappeared with their money, dreams that had turned expensive. Others had found genuine relationships, built real lives here. The difference I began to see wasn't luck. It was knowing the difference between being wanted and being needed, between love and transaction. The key, an old Australian named Pete told me over beers one evening, is coming here complete. If you're looking for someone to fix what's broken in you, you'll find plenty of takers. But if you come here whole, looking to share something good, that's different. I'd come to Thailand broken and desperate. Of course, I'd attracted someone who could smell that brokenness from across a crowded cafe. 2 months after moving out, I was still in the motel room. It had become home in its own strange way. I'd made friends with the owner, an old Thai woman named Kun Mali, who spoke broken English but always smiled when she saw me. She'd bring me fruit sometimes, or invite me to sit with her in the evening while she watched Thai soap operas. You look better now, she said one evening. More peaceful. I feel better. Still sad sometimes, but better. Sad is okay. Sad means you cared about something. Better to care and be sad than never care at all. I thought about that for days. Better to care and be sad than never care at all. Maybe she was right. Maybe what I'd felt for Thorata, even if it wasn't reciprocated, even if it was expensive, was still worth feeling. I started writing a different kind of letter. Not to Thorata, but to men like me. Men who might come to Thailand carrying grief and loneliness, looking for someone to make them feel alive again. I wrote, Your pain is real, but it's not her job to fix it. Your loneliness is real, but it's not her job to fill it. Come here whole, or don't come here at all. I wrote, If she's asking for money in the first month, run. If she's got other men calling her phone, run. If she's pushing you to put her name on anything, run. Your heart will tell you to stay, but your heart is not your friend right now. I wrote, You're not buying love. You're buying the performance of love. Know the difference. The letters grew into something longer, more detailed, a guide maybe, or just a warning. I wasn't sure anyone would ever read it, but writing it felt important. On a Tuesday morning in my 3rd month at the motel, I saw Thorata one last time. She was at the immigration office with an older Western man, helping him with paperwork just like she'd helped me. He looked grateful, dependent, already half in love. She looked exactly the same, beautiful, helpful, kind. I felt sorry for him, and sorry for her too in a way, stuck in a cycle of finding lonely men, caring for them just enough to keep them paying, then moving on when they got too attached or too suspicious. It seemed like a exhausting way to live. I didn't approach them. What would be the point? He wouldn't believe me if I warned him, and she was just doing what she needed to do to survive. I walked away and went back to my letters. I'm finishing this story, not for revenge. Thorata doesn't deserve that. She never promised me anything she didn't deliver. She was kind when I needed kindness, present when I needed presence, gone when I stopped being useful. That's honest, in its own way. I'm telling this story for the man I was 6 months ago. The man who thought he could buy his way out of grief with a pretty smile and a warm bed. The man who confused being needed with being loved. I still live in the motel on Soy 17. I still walk the beach every evening, still eat street food and struggle with the humidity, but I'm not looking for someone to save me anymore. I'm not even looking for someone to love, though I wouldn't turn it away if it came honestly. I sleep alone in a single bed with thin walls and a wheezing air conditioner. Some nights I'm lonely. Some nights I miss Martha so much it feels like drowning. Some nights I even miss Thorata, or at least the idea of her, the dream of us. But I don't miss the fear. The constant worry about where she was, who she was with, whether what we had was real. I don't miss checking my bank account with trembling hands, or lying awake wondering if I was being played. The dream is gone, but so is the nightmare. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's more than enough. Thailand is still beautiful. The water still turns gold at sunset. The food still tastes like nothing I ever had back home. The people still smile at my terrible attempts at their language. I came here looking for someone to love me, and I found someone who taught me the difference between love and transaction. That's worth something. That's worth the price I paid, even if it was higher than I planned to spend. My name is Clifford Henderson. I'm 68 years old. I live in a cheap motel in Pattaya, and I'm finally learning to love myself enough to say no. To the right person, at the right time, in the right way, I might even learn to say yes again. But that person won't find me desperate and broken, carrying my grief like a neon sign advertising my vulnerability. That person will find me whole, or at least working on it, with something real to offer instead of just something to take. I learned the hard way that you can't buy love, but you can buy the lesson that love can't be bought, and sometimes that lesson is worth every penny.